I was disowned by my entire family after being falsely accused of sleeping with my cousin's fiancé, but now the truth has finally come to light. 3 years too late, but still. It started at my cousin's engagement party. I'd always been close with Delilah, practically sisters growing up. When she got engaged to Tristan, I was genuinely happy for her. The party was at my aunt's mansion, the whole family there in expensive dresses and fake smiles. I was in the kitchen refilling my wine when Tristan cornered me. He was drunk, slurring about how Delilah was boring and I'd always been the hot one. I pushed him away and told him to sober up. That should have been the end of it. Instead, it became the lie that destroyed my life. 2 days later, Delilah called me sobbing. Someone told her they saw Tristan and me together at the party, in a bedroom, doing things. I was confused at first, then horrified. That never happened. I was in the kitchen the whole time. But she'd already told my mom, who told my aunt, who told everyone else. In my family, accusations spread like wildfire, and the truth burned slowly. Within a week, I was uninvited from the wedding. My mom stopped answering my calls. Dad told me I'd brought shame on the family. My younger brother blocked me on everything. At Sunday dinner, the one I wasn't invited to, they apparently all agreed to cut me off completely until I confessed and apologized. But I had nothing to confess. The wedding happened without me. Delilah wore my grandmother's veil, the one that was supposed to be mine someday. I saw the photos on social media before my entire family blocked me. I lost my job at my uncle's firm. My apartment was co-signed by my dad, so I had to move. I survived on savings and the kindness of friends who believed me. For 3 years, I lived in exile. Missed birthdays, holidays, my brother's graduation. I'd see my family sometimes at the grocery store. They'd look right through me like I was a ghost. My mom literally crossed the street once to avoid me. Then last Tuesday, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Silence. Then crying. It was Delilah. I need to see you, she whispered. Please. It's important. We met at the coffee shop where we used to study together in high school. She looked terrible. Hollow eyes, weight loss, trembling hands. I found Tristan's old phone, she said. He got a new one for work and left his personal one in a drawer. She pulled out a device, hands shaking. There are messages, hundreds of them, from my sister. My stomach dropped. Her sister. The one who told Delilah about the supposed bedroom incident. The one who'd been so concerned during the whole scandal. Delilah showed me the texts. They'd been having an affair for 2 years before the engagement. It was her sister in that bedroom at the party. Her sister who'd gotten jealous when Tristan drunkenly hit on me in the kitchen. Her sister who'd created the lie to deflect from her own guilt and eliminate me as a threat. I confronted them both, Delilah said. Tristan admitted everything. Said they've been sleeping together our entire marriage. She was at our wedding. She was my maid of honor. The cruelty of it was staggering. Her own sister had destroyed her relationship with me to hide her betrayal. I'm telling everyone today, Delilah said. The whole family. I'm making them understand what they did to you. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt nothing. 3 years of isolation. 3 years of being treated like trash by people who were supposed to love me. And now what? Sorry? That night, my phone exploded. 50 missed calls. Texts from my mom, dad, aunt, uncle, brother, all saying the same thing. They were wrong. They were sorry. They wanted to see me. My dad's text said, "We need to talk about this as a family. Come to Sunday dinner." As if 3 years could be erased with pot roast and an apology. I sat there staring at my phone. All these messages from people who'd abandoned me so easily. Who'd believed the worst without question. Who'd chosen comfortable lies over uncomfortable truth. My finger hovered over the delete button. Then my doorbell rang. I opened it to find my entire family standing there. Mom in front, dad behind her. Everyone crowded on my small porch. "We need to make this right," Mom said, tears streaming. Behind them, I saw Tristan's car pulling up. I didn't move from the doorway, just stood there blocking the entrance to my apartment. This tiny space that had become my sanctuary after they'd taken everything else from me. Mom reached out like she was going to hug me, and I stepped back. "Don't," I said. The word hung in the air. Mom's hand froze mid-reach. Dad shifted uncomfortably. My brother wouldn't meet my eyes. Behind them, Tristan was getting out of his car, and I could see Delilah's sister Veronica in the passenger seat. Her face was blotchy from crying. "Good. We know we messed up," Dad started. "But we're here now. We want to apologize properly." "Apologize properly," I repeated. The words tasted bitter. "You want to apologize for 3 years?" My aunt pushed forward. She'd always been the matriarch, the one who made the rules. "You have every right to be angry. What happened was unforgivable. But we're family. Family forgives." I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out harsh and broken. "Family forgives? Is that what you told yourselves when you uninvited me from the wedding? When you got me fired? When Mom crossed the street to avoid me at the grocery store?" Mom flinched. I was confused. I didn't know what to think. "You didn't know what to think?" I said slowly. "But you knew enough to stop being my mother." That was pretty clear thinking. Tristan had reached the porch now, standing at the back of the group. He looked awful, pale, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. Veronica hung back by the car, probably too ashamed to face me, as she should be. "Can we please come inside?" Mom asked. "We can't talk about this on your porch." "Why not? You had no problem talking about me everywhere else. At Sunday dinners, at the country club, in the church parking lot. I heard all about it from the few friends who didn't abandon me." My brother finally spoke up. "We were lied to. Veronica manipulated all of us." "Veronica lied," I agreed. "But you all chose to believe her. Over me. I told you the truth and you called me a liar. I begged you to listen and you blocked my number." "We're sorry," he said. His voice cracked. "I'm sorry. I missed you. You should have believed me." I cut him off. "You were my little brother. We used to tell each other everything. Remember when you came out to me before anyone else? Remember how I told you I'd always have your back no matter what? Tears were streaming down his face now. I know I messed up. I was scared of going against everyone else. So you threw me away instead. The silence that followed was broken only by someone's crying. Might have been my mom. Might have been my aunt. I'd stopped being able to tell their guilt apart. What do you want from us? Dad asked. He sounded tired, defeated. Tell us what we can do to fix this. You can't fix it, I said simply. That's what you're not understanding. You can't unring this bell. I spent 3 years rebuilding my life without any of you. I had to figure out how to be a person again after my entire family decided I wasn't worth their time. Do you know what that does to someone? Nobody answered. Tristan shifted his weight, and I turned my attention to him for the first time. Why are you even here? I asked him directly. Delilah asked me to come. She thought you deserved to hear the truth from me. The truth. I shook my head. The truth is that you were a drunk asshole at your engagement party who hit on me in the kitchen. The truth is that you were sleeping with your fiancé's sister and let me take the fall for it. The truth is that you've been lying for 3 years while I lost everything. I know, he said quietly. There's no excuse. I was a coward. Veronica said if I didn't back up her story, she'd tell Delilah about us anyway and make it worse. I panicked. I made the wrong choice. You made a lot of wrong choices, I said, but the worst one was letting me suffer for yours. Veronica finally approached, her steps hesitant. She looked like she'd aged 10 years in the last week. Her eyes were swollen and she was shaking. When she spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. I destroyed your life to save mine. I know that. I've known it every single day for 3 years. And yet you said nothing, I replied. You watched me at family gatherings before they cut me out completely. You saw what your lie did to me, and you stayed quiet. I was scared, she said. I thought if I could just keep the secret long enough, it would all go away. You thought it was easier to let me take the blame than to face the consequences of your own actions. I finished for her. You were right. It was easier. For you. Delilah's car pulled up then, and she got out slowly. She looked worse than she had at the coffee shop, like she hadn't slept in days. She walked up to the porch and stopped next to Veronica. I made them all come, Delilah said. I told them if they didn't face you, if they didn't try to make this right, I'd never speak to any of them again. That's sweet, I said. But I'm not interested in forced apologies. These aren't forced, Delilah insisted. They're horrified. They're ashamed. They want to fix this. There is no fixing this, Del. Don't you get it? They showed me exactly who they are. When things got hard, when the truth wasn't convenient, they chose the easy lie. They chose protecting the family reputation over protecting me. My uncle stepped forward. He'd been the one to fire me from his law firm. I should never have let you go. The company needed you. I needed you. I let family politics interfere with business. You let family politics interfere with my livelihood, I corrected. I had bills to pay. I had a lease with Dad as a co-signer that he refused to honor. You didn't just fire me. You helped make me homeless. His face went pale. I didn't know about the apartment. You didn't ask. None of you asked what happened to me after you cut me off. You just assumed I'd be fine. Or maybe you didn't care. We cared, Mom said desperately. We thought tough love would make you admit what you'd done. I didn't do anything, I said for what felt like the 1,000th time. And that's the part that you still don't seem to understand. I did nothing wrong, but you needed someone to be the villain in your story. And I was the easiest target. The sky was getting dark. My neighbors were probably watching from their windows. The whole scene was absurd. A family reunion on a tiny apartment porch, 3 years too late, with everyone crying and apologizing for ruining someone's life. I need you to leave now, I said. Please, Mom begged. Just give us a chance. Let us try to make amends. How? How are you going to make amends? Are you going to give me back the job I lost? The apartment? The 3 years of holidays and birthdays and normal life? Are you going to erase the trauma of being treated like I was dead? No, Dad said quietly. We can't give you any of that back, but we can try to move forward. We can rebuild. You can rebuild, I corrected. I already did. Without you. I made a new life. I have friends who stood by me. I have a job I'm good at. I have peace. Why would I give that up to let you all back in? Because we're your family, my aunt said. You stopped being my family 3 years ago. The words landed like a physical blow. Mom let out a sob. Dad put his hand on her shoulder. My brother looked like he might throw up. I loved you all, I continued, my voice steady now, calm. I loved you so much that losing you nearly destroyed me. For months, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't eat. I lost 20 pounds and my friend Rachel had to force me to drink water. I had panic attacks at the grocery store thinking I might run into you. I spent every holiday alone, crying, wondering what I'd done to deserve this. We didn't know, my aunt whispered. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Delilah spoke up again. What can we do? There has to be something. Some way to show you we're sorry. I looked at her. Really looked at her. She'd been my best friend, my cousin, practically my sister. And even she had believed the lie. Even she had cut me out without a second thought. You can live with what you did, I told her. You can sit with the knowledge that you threw away someone who loved you because it was easier than asking questions. You can think about that every time you look in the mirror. That's what you can do. That's not fair, my brother protested. We were manipulated. Veronica lied to all of us. Life's not fair, I said. I learned that when my entire family abandoned me over something I didn't do. You'll figure it out. I started to close the door, but Dad put his hand up to stop it. Wait, please, can we at least have your new phone number? Can we stay in touch? I looked at his hand on my door. 3 years ago, those hands had refused to co-sign a new lease. Those hands had hung up on me when I called crying. Those hands had written me out of the family completely. No, I said simply. Please, Mom tried again. We're begging you. Don't shut us out forever. Forever? I repeated. Is that how long 3 years felt to you? Because it felt like forever to me. Every single day. We'll do anything, my aunt said. Anything you want. Therapy, mediation, whatever it takes. I don't want anything from you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't want your apologies or your guilt or your attempts to ease your conscience. I want you to leave me alone. Tristan cleared his throat. For what it's worth, I'm divorcing Delilah, and I'm turning myself in to the Bar Association for ethics violations. I lied during business dealings, used your name in vain at the firm. I'm taking responsibility. Good for you, I said flatly. That doesn't undo anything. I know. I just thought you should know. Veronica was fully sobbing now. I'll do anything. Anything. I'll publicly confess. I'll tell everyone what I did. I don't care, I interrupted. Your confession doesn't change my last 3 years. It doesn't give me back the life I lost. It just makes you feel better about destroying it. Then what? She demanded, her voice breaking. What do you want from me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's the whole point. I don't want anything from any of you anymore. You're strangers to me now. The words hung heavy in the humid evening air. Somewhere down the street, kids were playing. Someone was grilling. Normal people having normal lives. Meanwhile, I was having the most surreal conversation of my existence. My mom tried one more time. You're my daughter. You'll always be my daughter. I know I failed you, but please don't shut me out forever. I can't lose you. You already lost me, I said, and I meant it. You lost me 3 years ago when you chose their lies over my truth. This person standing in front of you, this isn't the daughter you had. She died when you abandoned her. I'm someone new now. Someone who had to learn to survive without a family. We can start over, Dad suggested desperately. Clean slate. There are no clean slates. I cut him off. There are just consequences. You made your choices and I made mine. I chose to survive without you, and I did. But we want to be in your life now, my brother said. Doesn't that count for something? It counts for you being 3 years late. I could see them all processing this. The reality that I wasn't going to forgive them, that I wasn't going to let them back in, that their apologies, however genuine they might be now, couldn't undo the damage. I need you to understand something, I said, looking at each of them in turn. Every single day for 3 years, I gave you the chance to reach out, to question what you'd heard, to give me the benefit of the doubt. Every day, I waited for someone, anyone, to believe me. And every day, I was disappointed. So no, I don't want to rebuild. I don't want Sunday dinners or family holidays or awkward catch-up sessions where we all pretend the last 3 years didn't happen. I want my peace, and you're disrupting it. This is cruel, my aunt said, her voice hardening. We made a mistake. We admitted it. You're being vindictive. And there it was, the real them, showing through the apologies. I'm being vindictive, I repeated slowly. I'm being vindictive because I won't immediately forgive you for ruining my life? That's rich. We said we're sorry, she insisted. What more do you want? I don't want anything, I said again, more firmly. That's what you're not hearing. I don't want your sorry. I don't want your guilt. I don't want your late-night calls or your attempts at redemption. I want you to go away and let me live the life I built without you. You're being unreasonable, she said. And that's when something in me snapped. Unreasonable? My voice rose for the first time. I'll tell you what's unreasonable. Cutting off your niece because someone said they saw something at a party. Not bothering to investigate. Not asking questions. Firing her. Making her homeless. Treating her like she's dead for 3 years. And then showing up on her doorstep expecting instant forgiveness. Because now you know the truth. That's unreasonable. My aunt stepped back, shocked by the outburst. I gave you everything, I continued, the words pouring out now. My whole life, I was the good daughter, the good niece, the good cousin. I followed the rules. I did what was expected. I supported this family through everything. And the one time I needed you to support me, to believe me, to stand by me, you all failed. Every single one of you failed. Mom was crying openly now. We know we failed you, but we're here now. We want to do better. Too late, I said simply. You don't get to do better with me. That chance expired about 1,000 days ago. So that's it? Dad asked. You're just going to shut us out forever? Never speak to us again? That's what you did to me, I pointed out. Only I actually did nothing wrong. You all committed the crime and I served the sentence. So yeah, that's it. Delilah moved forward, pushing through the others. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I know I was a terrible friend and a terrible cousin, but I need you to know that I'm divorcing Tristan. I'm cutting off Veronica. I'm trying to make things right. Good for you, I said. I hope it helps you sleep at night. It doesn't, she said honestly. Nothing helps. I betrayed my best friend, the person I grew up with, the person who was supposed to be my maid of honor. And for what? Because my sister told a convincing lie? Because I was too hurt to think straight? I don't know, Del. Why did you believe her so easily? Did you always think I was capable of that? Of sleeping with your fiancé? Did you ever really trust me at all? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. I don't know, when she told me, something in me broke. I couldn't think straight. And then everyone else believed it too, and it felt like the truth. Mob mentality, I said. It's powerful, turns good people into cowards. I was a coward, she agreed. I am a coward, but I'm trying to be brave now. I'm trying to face what I did. 3 years late. I know it's too late, but I had to try. I looked at all of them standing there, my family, the people who'd shaped my childhood, who'd been at every birthday party and holiday dinner, the people who'd taught me how to ride a bike and helped me with homework and celebrated my achievements, and who'd thrown me away like garbage the moment it was convenient. I appreciate that you came, I said finally. I appreciate that you know you were wrong, but that doesn't change anything for me. You had 3 years to be brave. You chose now because Delilah forced you. That's not courage. That's damage control. That's not fair, my uncle protested. Neither is what you did to me. So you're going to hold this against us forever? I'm going to protect myself. That's what I'm going to do. You taught me that I can't trust any of you. That when things get hard, you'll choose yourselves over me. I'd be an idiot to ignore that lesson. The finality of my words seemed to sink in. Mom was shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. Dad looked older somehow, more tired. My brother was staring at his shoes. My aunt had her arms crossed, defensive now that her apology had been rejected. Delilah looked heartbroken. Tristan looked relieved, like he'd done his penance and could move on. And Veronica looked destroyed, which was exactly how she should look. I need you all to go now, I said again. And please don't come back. Don't call. Don't text. Don't send letters or gifts or show up at my work. I'm serious. I want you to pretend I really am dead, the way you did for 3 years. Only this time, it's my choice. We can't just pretend you don't exist, Mom sobbed. You're my daughter. Then you should have acted like it when it mattered. I stepped back into my apartment and started to close the door. Mom put her hand out to stop it, just like Dad had done earlier. Please, she whispered. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything, I said gently, removing her hand from my door. You already did it. I'm just accepting it. And I closed the door. I stood there with my back against it, listening to them on the other side. The crying, the arguing, someone saying they should try again, someone else saying to give me space. Eventually, I heard them leave, car doors closing, engines starting, the sound fading into the distance. I didn't cry. I thought I might, but I didn't. I just felt empty, like I'd been holding my breath for 3 years and finally let it out. My phone started buzzing immediately, calls and texts pouring in. I turned it off without looking. Then I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my couch, staring at the wall. They'd all come to apologize. They'd all admitted they were wrong. They'd all wanted forgiveness. And I'd turned them away. Part of me wondered if I was being too harsh, if I should have given them a chance, if family should mean something more than what they'd shown me. But then I remembered Christmas 2 years ago. I'd driven past my aunt's house where they were all gathered. I'd seen the lights and the cars and known that they were in there laughing and eating and exchanging gifts without me. I'd gone home to my studio apartment and eaten ramen alone and cried until I threw up. I remembered my birthday last year when I'd woken up to no calls, no texts, no acknowledgement that I existed. My friends had thrown me a party, but when everyone sang happy birthday, I'd had to excuse myself to cry in the bathroom because my own mother hadn't even sent a card. I remembered running into my brother at the mall 6 months ago, how I'd smiled and waved, desperate for any acknowledgement, and how he'd looked right through me like I was invisible and kept walking. No, I wasn't being too harsh. I was being exactly harsh enough. The next few weeks were strange. They kept trying. Letters showed up at my apartment, packages, flowers. My mom stood outside my building one morning, clearly having staked it out to catch me leaving for work. I called my landlord and asked about getting a restraining order. That seemed to finally make them stop. But the guilt texts continued. My phone would light up with messages about how I was tearing the family apart, how my aunt was devastated, how my grandmother was asking why I wouldn't come to Sunday dinners anymore, as if I'd been the one who'd stopped going, as if I'd been invited at any point in the last 3 years. One message from my brother made me laugh. You're being selfish. Mom is on antidepressants because of you. I responded before I could stop myself. I was on antidepressants because of you, for 2 years. Funny how that didn't matter. He didn't respond. Delilah tried a different approach. She started posting on social media about toxic family dynamics and the importance of believing survivors. It was performative and obvious, but at least she was trying. She sent me a message asking if we could meet for coffee again. I thought about it for a long time. Del had been my person, my best friend, the one who knew all my secrets and dreams. Losing her had hurt more than losing anyone else. But she'd also been the first to believe the lie. She'd been the one to start the chain reaction that had destroyed my life. And as much as I wanted to forgive her, I couldn't forget that. I blocked her number. 3 months after they'd shown up at my door, I got an email from my dad. The subject line said, "Please read." I almost deleted it without opening, but curiosity won. "I know you don't want to hear from us," it began, "and I'm respecting your wishes by not calling or showing up, but I need you to know some things. Your mother is not doing well. She blames herself for everything. She's seeing a therapist and taking medication, but nothing helps. She keeps your baby pictures by her bed and cries herself to sleep every night. I know this is our fault. I know we don't deserve your sympathy, but I thought you should know. Your brother came out to the whole family last Sunday. He was terrified, but he did it. And all I could think about was how you were the first person he told, how you supported him when he was scared, how we should have supported you the same way. Your aunt and uncle have separated. The guilt of what happened has apparently been poisoning their marriage for years. They both knew it was wrong to cut you off, but neither had the courage to say anything. Now it's cost them everything. Delilah filed for divorce. It's messy. Tristan is fighting for the house. Veronica has been cut off by everyone. She moved across the country and changed her number. I don't think anyone has heard from her since. And me? I wake up every morning and remember that I chose my pride over my daughter, that I let you suffer because I was too cowardly to question what I'd been told. I see you sometimes, did you know that? Around town, you look happy, healthy, like you've built a good life. And I'm so proud of you and so ashamed of myself at the same time. I'm not asking you to forgive us. I'm not asking you to come back. I just wanted you to know that your absence has left a hole in this family that will never be filled. We understand that now. We understand what we lost. I love you. I will always love you. And I'm sorry we'll never be enough. Dad. I read the email 3 times. Then I closed it and deleted it from my trash folder. Because the thing about consequences is that they're not supposed to be comfortable. They're supposed to hurt. They're supposed to teach you something. And what my family needed to learn was that some things, once broken, can't be fixed. Some betrayals are too deep. Some wounds don't heal just because you finally acknowledge them. 6 months after the porch confrontation, I got a promotion at work. My friends threw me a party. Rachel gave a speech about how proud she was of me for rebuilding my life, how strong I'd been through everything. Someone made a joke about me being risen from the dead, and everyone laughed because they knew the story. For the first time in years, I felt genuinely happy. Not the forced happiness I'd been faking, not the barely holding it together happiness. Real, authentic joy. I'd built this life from nothing. These friends had stood by me when I had nothing to offer except sadness and trauma. This job had given me a chance when my family had made sure I had no references. This apartment, tiny as it was mine. No one could take it from me. I didn't need my family's apology or their redemption arc. I didn't need to be part of their healing process. I didn't need to absolve them of their guilt so they could move on. I just needed to keep living the life I'd built in their absence. 1 year after they'd shown up on my doorstep, I changed my phone number. Didn't tell anyone except my closest friends and my boss. If my family wanted to reach me, they'd have to try harder than a text message. They didn't try. 18 months after the confrontation, I ran into my mom at the grocery store. The same grocery store where she'd once crossed the street to avoid me. She was in the produce section, looking at tomatoes. I could have turned around, could have avoided her the way she'd avoided me, but something made me keep walking. She looked up and saw me. Her face went pale, then red. Then she started crying right there in the middle of the grocery store. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. Please just talk to me." People were staring. I stood there with my shopping basket, looking at this woman who'd given birth to me, who'd raised me, who'd abandoned me. "I can't," I said simply. "Why not? I've apologized. We've all apologized. What more can I do?" "Nothing. That's what I keep trying to tell you. There's nothing you can do. So I'm just supposed to live the rest of my life without my daughter? Is that what you want?" "I lived 3 years without a mother," I pointed out. "You'll survive." She flinched like I'd slapped her. "That's cruel." "No, it's honest. There's a difference." I walked past her to the checkout. She didn't follow. When I glanced back, she was still standing there in produce, crying. Other shoppers were giving her a wide berth. I felt nothing. That's what surprised me the most. No satisfaction, no guilt, no sadness. Just nothing. 2 years after the confrontation, Rachel got married. She asked me to be her maid of honor, and I cried for an hour straight. Not sad tears, happy tears. Because someone wanted me in their life that much. Someone trusted me to be there for the biggest day of their life. At the wedding, giving my speech, I looked out at all the faces. Friends who'd become family, people who'd chosen to love me even when my blood relatives hadn't, people who'd believed me, supported me, and helped me rebuild. Family isn't always about blood, I said. Sometimes it's about who shows up, who stays, who believes you when it's hard. Rachel showed up for me when I had nothing. She believed me when everyone else called me a liar. She's not just my best friend, she's my sister, and I'm honored to stand here today. The room erupted in applause. Later at the reception, I danced with Rachel's dad. He told me he was proud to have me as an honorary daughter. I cried again. That night, I got a message from an unknown number. "I saw your speech on Rachel's Instagram. You looked beautiful. I'm so glad you found people who deserve you. Love, Delilah." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I blocked the number. 2.5 years after the confrontation, my brother showed up at my workplace. I was behind my desk when he walked in. For a moment, I didn't recognize him. He'd changed his hair, grown a beard, lost weight, but it was definitely him. "Before you call security," he said quickly, "I'm not here to convince you to forgive us. I'm not here to beg. I just need to tell you something." I didn't respond, just waited. "I'm getting married," he said, "and I'm not inviting mom or dad. I'm not inviting anyone from the family except you." That surprised me. Why? Because they don't deserve to be there. They taught me that family means choosing comfort over truth. They taught me that it's okay to abandon people when it's convenient. I don't want that energy at my wedding. I don't want to become them. "And you think I'll come?" "No," he admitted. "I don't think you will. But I wanted you to know that I understand now. What they did to you. What we all did to you. I understand that some things can't be forgiven, and I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know that I'm trying to be better. That I'm trying to break the cycle." He put an envelope on my desk. "The invitation is in there. If you don't come, I'll understand. But I wanted you to have it anyway." Then he left. I sat there staring at the envelope for the rest of my shift. When I got home, I opened it. Beautiful invitation. His fiancé's name was Reed. The wedding was in 2 months at a small venue downtown. I put it on my fridge. Didn't RSVP either way. Just looked at it every morning with my coffee. 3 years after the confrontation, I moved. Got a new apartment in a different part of the city. Bigger place, better neighborhood. I could afford it now with my new salary. The moving process was cathartic. Packing up the life I'd built in the ashes of the old one. Creating something new again. My phone rang while I was unpacking boxes. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but I did. "Hello? Don't hang up, please." It was Delilah. I almost did hang up, but something in her voice stopped me. "I'm calling to tell you that I'm getting remarried," she said. "To someone wonderful. Someone who treats me the way Tristan never did. And I'm not inviting any of the family. Not my parents, not your parents, not anyone who was part of what happened to you." "Good for you," I said neutrally. "I know you don't care. I know you've moved on, but I need you to know that I think about you every single day, about how I failed you, about how I chose a man over my cousin, over my best friend, and I hate myself for it." "Delilah, I'm not asking for forgiveness," she interrupted. "I'm just telling you that you were right about everything, about all of them, and I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." "Okay, that's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say?" "I don't know. I don't know what I wanted. I hope you're happy," I said, and I meant it. "I hope your new partner treats you well. I hope you have a good life." "Thank you," she whispered. "I hope the same for you." We sat in silence for a moment. "Goodbye, Delilah." "Goodbye." I hung up. Then I went back to unpacking boxes. The day of my brother's wedding, I woke up early, stared at the invitation that had been on my fridge for 2 months, tried to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to go, wanted to support him for trying to be better, wanted to show him that breaking the cycle was possible. But another part of me remembered that he'd been part of the cycle, that he'd blocked me on everything, that he'd chosen them over me when it mattered. I got dressed, did my makeup, put on the dress I'd bought just in case. Then I sat on my couch and didn't move. At exactly the time the ceremony was supposed to start, I texted him, "Congratulations. I hope you have a beautiful day, but I can't be there. I hope you understand." He responded immediately, "I understand. Thank you for considering it. I love you." I didn't respond, just turned off my phone and went for a walk. 3.5 years after the confrontation, I started dating someone. His name was Owen, and he was kind and patient and didn't push me to talk about my family. When I finally did tell him the story, he just held me and said, "You're allowed to protect yourself." That simple statement made me cry, because it was true. I was allowed to protect myself. I didn't owe my family forgiveness just because they'd finally realized they were wrong. I didn't owe them access to my life just because we shared DNA. I was allowed to choose me. 4 years after the confrontation, I got engaged. Owen proposed on a beach at sunset, and I said yes without hesitation. Planning the wedding was strange. Who do you invite when you don't have a family? Where do you seat people when there's no parents or siblings or aunts or uncles? You have family, Rachel reminded me. Us, your chosen family. So that's what we did. I walked myself down the aisle. Rachel stood as my maid of honor. My friends filled the seats where blood relatives should have been, and it was perfect. Owen's family embraced me immediately. His mother told me I was the daughter she'd always wanted. His father offered to help me with anything I needed. His siblings included me in their group chats and family dinners. It was overwhelming and beautiful, and everything I'd lost when my own family cut me out. At my wedding reception, Owen's mother pulled me aside. "I know you don't have your parents here," she said gently, "and I can never replace them, but I want you to know that you're my daughter now, officially." I cried into her shoulder. This woman who'd known me for 6 months was offering me more than my own mother had in 4 years. "Thank you," I managed to say. "No, thank you, for loving my son, for being brave enough to build a new life, for showing him what strength looks like." 4.5 years after the confrontation, I got pregnant. The news was terrifying and exciting in equal measure. I was going to be a mother. I was going to have a chance to do it right, to be the parent my mother never was. "Should we tell your family?" Owen asked carefully. "I don't have a family," I reminded him. "You know what I mean." "No," I said firmly. "They don't get to know. They don't get to meet my child. They don't get to be grandparents or aunts or uncles. They made their choice 4 years ago." "Okay," he said simply. "Then we won't tell them." 5 years after the confrontation, I gave birth to a daughter. We named her Grace because that's what she was. Grace in human form. A second chance at everything. Holding her in the hospital, with Owen beside me and Rachel crying happy tears in the corner, I realized something. My family's rejection had nearly destroyed me, but it had also freed me. Freed me to build something better, to choose my own people, to create my own definition of family. Grace would never know her biological grandparents. She'd never have cousins from my side or great aunts who told embarrassing stories about my childhood. But she'd have Owen's family, who already adored her. She'd have Rachel, who'd insisted on being called Aunt Rachel. She'd have my chosen family, who'd shown up in ways my blood family never had. And she'd have me, a mother who understood the importance of showing up, of believing, of choosing truth over comfort. 6 months after Grace was born, I ran into my aunt at the park. She saw me pushing a stroller and her face lit up, then fell when she realized what it meant. "You had a baby," she said, approaching carefully. "I did. Can I see her?" "No, please, I'm her great aunt." "I have a right." "You have no rights," I interrupted. "You gave those up when you cut me off. But she's family. She deserves to know her family." "She does know her family, just not you." My aunt's face hardened. "You're punishing an innocent baby because of what we did." "No, I'm protecting my daughter from people who've proven they can't be trusted. There's a difference." I walked away before she could respond. Grace gurgled happily in her stroller, oblivious to the confrontation. I kissed her forehead and kept walking. That night, I got a message from my mother. Somehow she'd heard about Grace. The message was long, desperate, begging for a chance to meet her granddaughter, promising she'd change, saying she'd go to therapy, do whatever it took, just please let her be in her granddaughter's life. I deleted the message without responding. 7 years after the confrontation, Grace started preschool. On family day, all the other kids had grandparents visiting. Grace had Owen's parents, which was more than enough. But I could see her noticing that she only had one set of grandparents when her friends had two. "Do I have other grandparents?" she asked that night. Owen and I had prepared for this question, had discussed how to answer it. "You did," I said carefully, "but they're not in our lives anymore." "Why not?" "Because they hurt Mommy very badly, and Mommy had to make a choice to keep herself safe, and to keep you safe too." "Did they hurt you with their hands?" "No, baby, with their words and their choices." She thought about this. "That's mean." "It was very mean. I'm glad I have Grandma and Grandpa from Daddy's side. They're nice." "They are nice. We're very lucky to have them." She seemed satisfied with this answer, went back to playing with her toys. But I sat there thinking about how easy it was for her to accept, how she didn't need those other grandparents because she had everything she needed right here. 8 years after the confrontation, I heard through the grapevine that my father had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. The disease was progressing rapidly. He was already forgetting things, getting confused, struggling with basic tasks. Part of me felt sad. He was my dad, after all. The man who'd taught me to ride a bike and helped with my math homework and scared away boys who weren't good enough. But he was also the man who'd chosen his pride over his daughter, who'd let me become homeless rather than question a lie, who'd made me feel like I didn't exist for 3 years. I didn't reach out, didn't send a card or a message, didn't offer to help. His disease wasn't my responsibility. His care wasn't my problem. He'd made his choices. Now he'd live with the consequences. 9 years after the confrontation, my mother died. Heart attack, sudden and unexpected. I found out from my brother, who'd gotten my new number somehow. I thought you should know, he said. The funeral is on Saturday. I know you won't come, but I wanted you to know anyway. I thanked him and hung up. Sat with the news for a long time. My mother was dead. The woman who'd given birth to me. The woman who'd rejected me. The woman who'd cried herself to sleep for years because of her own choices. I didn't cry, didn't feel sad, just felt nothing. On the day of the funeral, I took Grace to the zoo. We looked at elephants and lions and laughed at the monkeys. It was a beautiful day. Grace held my hand and chattered about her favorite animals. Owen bought us ice cream and we sat in the sunshine, a normal family doing normal things. And I didn't think about my mother's funeral once. 10 years after the confrontation, I got a letter from my father's lawyer. My mother had left me something in her will, a safety deposit box key and a letter. I almost threw it away, almost didn't even open it. But curiosity won out. The letter was simple. I know you won't forgive me. I don't expect you to. But I want you to have these things. They're yours by right. I love you. I'm sorry. Mom. The safety deposit box contained my grandmother's jewelry, the pieces that were supposed to be mine, the ones I should have inherited but never received after the family cut me off. There was also a thick envelope full of photographs, pictures of me growing up, birthday parties, holidays, school events. All the memories of before everything went wrong, and tucked in between the photos was a journal, my mother's journal, years of entries about her regret, her guilt, her desperate wish to fix things. I read it all in one sitting, every entry, every apology, every expression of pain and regret and self-hatred. When I finished, I closed the journal and put everything back in the box, took it home and put it in my closet. I didn't throw it away, but I didn't display it either. It was just there, existing, like my family used to. 12 years after the confrontation, my brother called. Dad died, he said, peacefully, in his sleep. The Alzheimer's had taken everything by the end. I don't think he knew who any of us were. Okay, I said. Do you want to know about the funeral arrangements? No. Okay. We sat in silence. I'm sorry, he finally said, for everything. I know it's too late, but I'm sorry. I know you are. Does that change anything? No, I figured. I hope you have a good life, I told him. I really do. I hope you broke the cycle like you wanted to. I hope you're happy. I am, he said, mostly, but I miss you. I know, but missing me is part of your consequence. I understand. We said goodbye. I haven't heard from him since. 15 years after the confrontation, Grace turned 9. She's smart and funny and kind. She looks like me but acts like Owen. She has friends who love her and grandparents who dote on her and a life full of joy. She doesn't know about my biological family, doesn't know about what happened before she was born, doesn't need to. That's my story, not hers. Sometimes late at night when I can't sleep, I wonder if I did the right thing, if I should have given them a second chance, if family should mean something more than what they showed me. But then I remember sitting in that hospital room while my sister Emma battled leukemia in story 2 of the file I read. Except in my case, it was me battling my own demons while my family went on with their lives. I remember the parent who chose work over her dying child. I remember the promise that was broken. And I remember my own promise to myself, to protect myself, to choose me, to never let anyone make me feel that worthless again. I kept that promise. And I do it all again. Because at the end of the day, family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up, who stays, who believes you when it's hard, who chooses you even when it's inconvenient. My biological family failed that test, but my chosen family passed with flying colors. And that's the family that matters. I'm lying in bed now, listening to Grace and Owen laughing in the other room. They're making breakfast and probably making a mess. In an hour, Rachel and her family will come over for brunch. Owen's parents are bringing pastries. It'll be loud and chaotic and perfect. This is my family. These people who chose me. These people who show up, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. Not even for the family I used to have. Not even for the apologies and the guilt and the desperate attempts at reconciliation. Because I learned something important over these 15 years. Forgiveness isn't mandatory. Healing doesn't require reconciliation. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away and never look back. My family gave me a gift, even though they didn't mean to. They taught me that I'm strong enough to survive without them, that I'm worth more than their conditional love, that I deserve people who believe me, support me, and choose me every single day. So no, I don't regret closing that door 15 years ago. I don't regret walking away. I don't regret choosing myself, because on the other side of that door, I found something better. I found me, the real me, the one who doesn't need their approval or their presence or their love, the one who's enough all on her own. And that's the happiest ending I could have asked for.